headed to work right now?
Yes, sir.
You don't look like it.
I know we got field day today at school.
Oh, okay.
And I'm in
Like you're
charge of
going on
water.
vacation to the Bahamas or something.
No, I'm in charge of water games, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get wet today.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think I've had you in the car before.
Yes, yeah, sure have.
I know we talked about the school for a little bit.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And if we can, I'd like to talk about it again. But yeah, so tell me about that school again.
Well, we just it's the only school in South Carolina that focuses on dyslexia. So probably 98% of our 220 students are dyslexic, or they have some other reading disabilities or learning disabilities. So we kind of focus on that. We're grades 2nd through 8th. So obviously once they go through middle school with us, then we send them to a traditional high school. Or if their parents choose to keep them in a charter school, then they can do that. But yeah.
What's the like graduation rate for them to go through high school and then on to college?
I don't particularly know those numbers. We're young. We've only been open for 3 years.
Okay.
So we probably don't have that data yet.
Okay.
But I can tell you that we've graduated 8 kids from their IEPs in the last 2 years.
What's an IEP?
IEP is an individual education plan.
Okay.
Obviously, if they have some sort of disability or learning development, it's called an IEP.
Okay.
Like my son, he's ADHD. He has an IEP. So what the IEP allows in the classroom for specific accommodations, like he may need a little longer to do a test, or he needs to sit away.
Is that like a national standard, the IEP?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and is there like a numerical value placed upon it, or?
I don't know that. And there's two parts to it. The IEP is the initial plan. So let's say we have a student that can't work. He can only work in a small group. He can't focus if he's in big groups. So he would be in a small group accommodation. So the other component is called a 504 plan, which is the actual accommodation. So the IEP is he can't work in big groups. The accommodation is we'll put him in a small group.
Okay.
Or some students require earbuds. They have to actually listen to it on their computer.
Okay.
That would be an accommodation. So I have a little guy I've been mentoring a few years. He has anxiety really bad inside the classroom. So, and that's his IEP. He just has testing anxiety. So the 504 to that, which is the accommodation, is he's allowed to go out of the classroom like twice every period just to, calm himself down. And that's allowable per the plan.
Right.
And that's federal law, so we have to accommodate that. Yeah, it's a challenge working at this school because this is my first experience in a classroom in general.
Okay.
I've been mentoring all my life young people.
Okay.
Mostly at-risk kids, but I decided to throw my hat into the school. I'm like, okay, let's see if they'll hire me because I want to be able to mentor inside the classroom also. Yeah, and it worked. I went in and interviewed. I was upfront with her. I said I've never been in a school setting. And she took her chance and she hired me. So
awesome. Is there a correlation or a percentage of kids that are affected by dyslexia? Is there any correlation to the rise or fall of it in society?
Great question. Definitely based on my research, because obviously when I got hired, I needed to look at how dyslexic kids are in that school. Like I said, probably 98% of that population in that school is dyslexic. But I guess nationwide or across the country, I think I saw we had a professional development a couple of weeks ago around dyslexia, and I think the number wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but I think it was around 46%. That's a lot.
46% of the general population has some sort of dyslexia. Is that what you're saying?
In every state, yeah, and undiagnosed.
Okay.
Right. So the undiagnosed. I'm sorry, I meant to clarify that.
Okay.
I think the diagnosed one was around the 20% mark, which is kind of, I agree with that. But a lot of parents don't want to have a stigma on their children. Say, oh, they're this and they're that. So they try not to. A lot of parents won't get the diagnosis.
Just put the blinders on.
Right. There you
Nothing wrong
go.
with my kid.
Exactly. Not my kid. So a lot of people think dyslexia is just writing numbers backwards or spelling words a different way. A lot of it is that, but a lot of it's just in the mind also and how their eyes see it. So a lot of times we don't correct them. So if a little guy I'm coaching, if he writes a 9 as a 6, we try not to correct him. We just kind of show him, okay, this is how the 6 goes, but this is how the 9 goes. If he does it again the next time, we just don't really, we kind of grade on the curve, obviously, for that. But, just kind of help him with certain reading.
Right.
We have 8th graders that are reading on a 3rd grade level in that school. And they've come a long way in the last 3 years. Kids come to us totally illiterate in 5th grade. They can't write their name or anything, so we're making big strides. It's impressive to help these kids out because it's tough. And obviously they're really emotional because they're already aware that they have a possibly learning disorder.
Right.
So
is
they're already...
Is there any thing that coincides with a parent being illiterate as well?
Oh, absolutely.
As to why the child would be illiterate?
Yeah, definitely parents who don't perform well in the classroom, obviously. Education may not be their focus, or they don't know how to teach it.
Sure. That makes perfect sense. I mean, if an adult can't read, then definitely not going to be able to help a child read.
Yeah, it could definitely be generational. And, I take my own personal experience. Me and my wife were separated, but she dropped out in the 11th grade, so it took a while for me to get her to just go back to school and get her GED. And I literally had to, we got into a huge argument one time because I just wanted her to finish school. So right now, school has never been a priority for her. And it kind of shows with the kids me and her share together. She's not really education focused because a lot of times when they're staying with her, they'll miss days out of school or she's not pushing to do homework because she's not focused on education.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure as single parents, it's probably
absolutely
something that's very common because they're working all the time, trying to make ends meet, and
oh yeah,
not
definitely
have time to focus on getting the child, educated.
It's definitely a huge balance to be able to manage. And my boys mentor program probably speaks best to that because we focus on boys with no father in the home. So a lot of our parents, a lot of our moms are single parents. We got moms working 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. So a lot of times they're not there. It's a tough balance to be able to take care of the child and make sure they're doing the right thing.
I'm sure after working a couple of jobs, they don't want to come home and then have to do homework with a kid, right? It's not a high priority for them. They just want to get some rest.
Right, exactly. So
I get that. because our family, we've been married for 30-something years. We raise our kids, and we still struggle to work together to get the kids, do their homework with them.
Absolutely.
So I can imagine what it would be like for, the single.
Well, a lot of people don't know this now. There, a lot of schools they don't send homework home anymore.
Really?
Even in regular public schools, because it's not getting done. They don't have the help at home to be able to do the work. So a lot of it's just now classwork.
Okay.
Like my school, we don't send homework home.
Interesting.
Because a lot of times, I think as an education field, we've noticed that it just doesn't get done at home. Like you said, parents don't have the time sometimes to sit down and hey, let's get your homework done, or Mom, I need help with this, but they don't know how to help them.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. You gotta have to adapt to society, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If society at large is not participating in doing the homework with the kids, and you're just wasting your time sending it home, right?
And I thought it was just my school, like a charter type school, but I asked my son, he's in a traditional, he goes to Spring Valley High.
Okay.
And I'm always asking, hey, you got homework? He goes, Dad, we don't do homework. So
Wow.
I actually called the school because I didn't believe him, right?
What's up with that?
The lady said, no, sir, we're in a program where we don't really send homework home. We do everything in class now. I'm like, oh, okay, well, the times are changing.
For sure, yeah. My wife and I had talked about that at some point in the past about, single parents and having to do homework with the kids. It's probably not getting done anyway. They're not helping anybody to send all that work home with them. So, yeah, interesting. Okay. That's kind of a big change in education, for sure.
Big change. I mean, I guess we have to go with the times, and I get that.
Yeah.
I get it.
Just push more into the day at school rather than send it home.
I think nationally, South Carolina has made a major change and improvement in testing scores.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not saying, and I don't know what has attributed to that. Probably more focus on classroom work, just hiring more teachers, TAs in the classroom. Like I'm a teacher assistant, so if a young person is getting unruly or they're distracted for some reason, then obviously that's a part of my job. So the teacher doesn't have to stop. A lot of teachers don't have TAs,
Okay.
and they're spending half their class period to calm one kid down, which is taken away. So I think a TA is required in every classroom, but I know some districts don't have the budget for that.
Yeah, you would think that, especially nowadays, because
Absolutely.
some kids are so unruly.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's just middle school is tough for me. I don't see how people can work with high schoolers, which I get it. You gotta have that tough skin for them, because you're right, they're different. I saw a video the other day. This kid was just slapping this teacher. The teacher was just sitting there taking it. Like he slapped her twice. Like it was pretty awful. Like
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I'd be fired in a hurry because I'd punch that kid.
That's what I said on my post. I said this is the day I would have lost my job.
Oh, for sure. There's no way. I mean, I can't. I just couldn't.
Yeah, couldn't do it. So, but a lot of these kids are dealing with so much anger.
Yeah.
And
don't know how to deal with it.
They don't know how to deal with it.
Especially nowadays because they're all on the phone all the time.
Yeah, on the phone,
they don't
video
know how to
game.
interact with people.
Yeah,
they get some kind of rejection of some sort, and they don't know how to deal with it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So
I know when we were kids, we duked it out, and then we hugged each other later.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. And kids just don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
I don't know where we lost it at as far as society.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure a huge portion of it is the breakdown of the the family.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. So I have to agree with that. And I just made, I made a commitment to myself when me and my wife split. I said, okay, I'm gonna make sure these kids don't suffer. Me and her got 3 kids together, so I stayed active in their lives. I make sure I talk to them every day.
Right. Be involved as much as possible.
Yeah, so they're teenagers now, but my oldest is 22.
Okay.
But I have my son is 16, my daughter's 14, so I'm definitely active in their lives. My daughter's 22; she's pretty much living her own life right now.
Sure.
So, but yeah, it's important these kids keep a connection.
Yeah.
Particularly when families split, because and it wasn't a bad split, so that was a good thing about me and my wife. It wasn't a big blowout or anything. It was a mutual split. We agreed. Okay.
Right.
We've run our course.
Yeah.
So we grew up together. We dated for, how long did we date? We dated for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And my family kind of put the screws on me. When you gonna marry that girl? I'm like, okay, well, you're right. So I got to make her an honest woman.
Yeah.
So we were married for 10 years. So we were together 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Once again, so just so I can have verbal confirmation, I have your permission to post this online.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
So, but yeah, you can expect to see yours definitely. Will be on there at some point.
Yeah, thank you so much for just the exposure.
Yeah. Anywhere in particular?
Right here's great.
All right, sir.
Right by the door. Thanks again, Ron.
Yeah.